The Fiat vehicles, the company, started about 118 years back. In Italy, this Agnelli family, the owner, is regarded only second to the royal family of UK. They have such influence, such wealth. It is not only the Fiat vehicles, but banks, insurance companies, newspapers, and they have so many business. The present owner had only one son, Eduardo. He committed suicide in 2016 in October under a huge bridge. He was 43. In our lives, we have so many plans. We think that certain things would surely ensure our happiness, but having everything, still, there is a slight unhappiness in everyone. That could have been the reason why this wealthy Eduardo committed suicide. Today's readings could be summarized in two words: hope, therefore the promise, and fulfillment. The first reading spoke to us about Abram. The meaning of Abram is the exalted father. Abram was aged. Abram was landless. Abram was childless. Abram was hopeless. God calls him, and God gives him a different vocation. Abram is made Abraham, meaning father of many. So, God tells him, I will make you a blessing. And with that blessing, this hopeless Abram becomes hopeful Abraham. Childless Abram becomes a father of a nation. Landless Abram becomes Abraham with plenty of lands. Like Abraham, even in the hopelessness of Jesus, Jesus is given hope. In fact, the book of the Gospels that we use on Sundays particularly, and on the feasts and the solemnities, the beginning, it is a different beginning, but when we read the same pericope from the Bible, this passage begins with the words, 6 days after, or certain gospel writers make it, after 8 days. The use of these 6 days or 8 days, it is not just to use words like we start a story. Something happens in the gospel 6 days before, that is, Jesus is speaking to his disciples about his betrayal, suffering, and death. Then Peter doesn't want this thing to happen. Then Peter is reprimanded by Jesus, "Get behind me, Satan." This was the context of the gospel. And Jesus is transfigured. As Jesus is transfigured, Jesus is found with Elijah and Moses. These are the two main figures in the Old Testament. Moses represents the whole of Torah, the law. Then Elijah represents all the prophets. So the whole Old Testament was present with Jesus. There is another reason why Jesus is found with Elijah and Moses. Jewish people, they believed that Moses and Elijah did not die. According to the tradition, they thought, well, though Moses died, they do not have Moses' tomb. But Elijah already, when he was alive, he was taken up to heaven by God. So both Moses and Elijah, according to the tradition, they believed they live in eternity, the eternal now. So this is a foretaste for Jesus. He is about to suffer, to be crucified and to die. But after his suffering and death, what he will experience is just shown at a glimpse. That is the whole meaning of the transfiguration. In our lives, we have our moments of transfiguration. Everything goes well, we are so happy. Our health is good, our wealth is stable, our family is united, children are doing well, and the friends are good with us, lot of good things. And we really are happy and we feel God has blessed us, and it is easy to experience the presence of God when everything is going well. Then, suppose the other things happen. Problem after problem. Issue after issue in life. Seemingly no solutions humanly. All our hopes are shattered. It is difficult to face others. However much the others are around us, the suffering has to be undergone by the individual person, and it becomes so tough, like Eduardo Agnelli. And in these situations, it is difficult even to think that God is with us. Our faith is shattered. But these good times, the moments of transfiguration in our life, would help us to bear the difficult times, the suffering. The message of the transfiguration tells us suffering and death, the difficulties in life, are not the end of life, but the cross would lead to the resurrection. Then there is a particular word that Jesus hears. He is my beloved Son. This beloved Son, we find the same words in the Old Testament given only to two people. One is David. David is called the Son of God. Then beloved son is given by Abraham to Isaac. This title, beloved son, being given to Jesus, reminds Jesus of his own royalty. Though he is about to undergo the suffering that, like David and more than David, well, he will really unite all the people. And his royalty will be there forever. Then, like Isaac was to be offered as a sacrifice, this beloved son. Jesus, the beloved son, is reminded of the Calvary at Transfiguration. Like Isaac was to be sacrificed, Jesus will make his life a sacrifice for the others. The season of Lent help us to take little more time to ponder, to think, to meditate our present existence, all what we go through, and to get ourselves strengthened so that we will never lose hope in the difficulties, in the sufferings, in the death. But we will always remember that these difficulties would lead us to greater joy, like cross leading to the resurrection.